Okay, so I do thank you for working hard yesterday. So I've said nice things about you guys. Anyway, this was your first priority. So there was also like an extra Kahoot if you had time to get to it. So I'll give that back. Jordan, remind me if I don't. But this was your first priority because like I told you, the test you're going to take today would have been your Unit 3 test. But I'm going to call it a quiz so that you can use your notes. Plus, we didn't have as much time on it as we normally do, like in the prior year. So this would have been your practice test, but now it's your practice quiz. So it's worth more class points than like some of your other work. All right, so that's why this was your first priority. And it looks like most people got it done at 80% or higher, so that's good. Any questions we still have before we take the quiz?
With that one.
With this
Oh,
one?
no, it was number 7.
Number 7. Yeah, the numbers will be in the correct order. That's fine. All right, so. Julian, okay. So number 7, if you care to follow along. We have the following tables to show the relationship between how many times a student was absent and their current percent in the class. So it gives you 3 columns. Really, the 2 things that are being compared is this and this. Which one would you say is your dependent variable? Okay, I agree. Right, your percent probably depends on how often you are in class. So if you're putting this on a graph, this is what it would be. That means these would be my X's, these would be my Y's. When we scroll down, it's gonna mess up my writing, but it's fine. For this one, you're supposed to enter the correlation coefficient. So your correlation coefficient, what letter do we use for that? R. Your R value is always between what 2 numbers? So it's from -1 to +1, depending on how strong, weak it is, and whether it's positive or negative. So if you're putting in a number outside of those numbers, it's automatically going to be. I will say that you don't need to calculate the correlation coefficient by hand. Even if you have a job where you have to use the correlation coefficient, you'll probably use a computer to do that. So what I would do is pull up Desmos, and that table that they gave me, I would put into Desmos. So I would hit table, and I would only plot what we said the X's and the Y's are. So I would only plot the last 2 columns, exactly how it is on my paper. It might be a lot, but it's better than trying to guess the correlation coefficient. So I'll only put some of them in. So first one would be 487. But can someone read me the table? So then 0.75. What's the next one? 465. And okay, so this is what I'm going to put in. Really, you should put in all of them, but just to show you how to do it, I'm just going to put in some of them. So what this does is it makes a scatter plot. I have to zoom out to see it. And then if you do what I taught you the other day, which is type in y1 squiggly mx1 plus b, it estimates, well, first of all, it gives you a trend line. And then it estimates all the values for you. So don't get confused with the R squared value. Just look at the R value. So, and it should be negative because it looks like it's going downward. So that's a good indication. And so just from the points I put in, I didn't put in all of them. When you do, you should get the real R value. That's what I would put into that box. But also just reminding you, it shows you other cool things like your slope, your y-intercept. It can plot your residuals. Do you guys remember residuals closer to what are better? For residuals, the closer they are to 0, the x-axis, the better. All right, but yeah, for your test, you'll put all your data into Desmos and let it estimate the R value. I will go back and, are you listening? I will go back and give you points if it's close. Like if that's my R value, I'll give it to you if it's like negative 0.8 or negative 0.6 or something around that. Really, I just want you to be able to estimate the R value based on how your data looks. But how you know what your data looks is you would have to plot it, and you don't have graph paper handy probably. So you should probably just use Desmos to plot it. Brian?
How would I write this for you?
On my keyboard, it's shift and then next to the number 1. Does everyone hear that? Wiggly line is next to the number 1, so you'll have to hit shift next to the number 1. Hi. Oh, okay. So any questions on that one? So that's not the real R value. You'd have to put in all your other data for that. What else on this or a different one? Any questions on any other parts of the practice quiz? Because we're taking the quiz right after, so. And just like your practice test, it's like this, just with different numbers and stuff. Felt like I had more hands raised earlier, so. Question? One. Oh, Ryan?
Number 6.
Number 6. So then. I have Mary was driving home from California. The following graph records her distance from home and time spent driving. It doesn't have it labeled, but which one would go on the x-axis? Her distance from home or time spent driving? Time spent driving. So, because one, I told you before that time is usually on the x-axis. And 2, it appears that the distance would depend on how much time has passed, right? Anyone disagree with me there? Okay. So which of the following statements are true regarding slope and y-intercept? So you would have to probably make it into slope-intercept form. How can you figure out the slope from a graph?
Wait, what you said?
How can you figure out the slope?
Then like x1, y2 minus y1 over x2.
Okay, good. You could do that and pick 2 coordinates off of the line. Which coordinates are easy to see?
6 and 0.
That would be 6, 0 because the x is 6 right there. What else is easy to see?
4.
Okay. So just pick 2 that are easy to see from the line. Make one of them x1, y1, the other x2, y2, and then plug it in. So if you pick these 2, it would be 0 minus 100 over 6 minus 4, right? So negative 100 over what 6 minus 4. And then negative 100 divided by 2 is, so that's going to be my slope. And then we still need to identify our y-intercept. Can I see my y-intercept clearly on this graph? Yes. What is it?
0, 300 places.
Good. I'm just going to put 300, but yes. So that's where it starts on the y-axis. Good there? Okay, so using that, we're going to answer these questions. Is the y-intercept 6? So then don't pick A. And we're selecting all. Oh, there's a lot of them. Okay. I'm going to erase some of this. All right, friendly reminder, you can use your notes on your quiz, so if you don't have any notes, maybe copy down the ones that we're going over. But, so y-intercept is definitely not fixed, if the y-intercept 300.
How many are there?
Okay, so then take that one. Is the slope -65? Is the y-intercept how far she's driving from home? Oh wait, hold on. Is it how far she is from home when she starts driving? Yes, because your y-intercept is your starting amount, and we're measuring her distance from home. So obviously that would be the greatest is when she starts driving, right? So the y-intercept is how far she is from home when she starts driving. Is the slope -50?
Yes.
Does the slope represent her average speed? And why do you say no, Jalen? Because it's going down, your speed can't be negative, right? So that's an indication. What it represents is how her distance is decreasing. So it looks like every, and I don't know what they're measuring by, hour, I'm not really sure. Time, it just says time. So for every, let's say it's hour, she's decreasing like 50 miles from home now, if that makes sense. So if it was positive, then maybe we could say she's traveling at a rate of 50 miles per hour, but I would say no, it's her distance that's decreasing. Okay. G, the slope represents how many miles she still has to travel. I would say no. Because it's how the distance is decreasing each time. And then the y-intercept is how fast she needs to go in order to get home in 6 hours. I would say no, that's the distance she needs to go. So let me check my key to make sure it's marking the ones that I'm saying. So hold please. Did anyone get this one completely right? Okay, so the way that we reasoned it is correct. Now we have 45 minutes remaining in class. The quiz is only 8 questions, but it looks just like this. So any other questions before we take the quiz? Did Kaden go already? Okay. All right, last call for questions. Everything else makes sense? Even number 2? All of them? All right, going once. Going twice. All right, so